Welcome back to another installment of science fiction short stories. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. This one is by Reonell Gloria, and it is called Rat in a Cage. The alarm rang. I looked up at the clock. It read 6:45 a.m. It was way too early. I was still hungover from the party last night. My throat was parched, and I needed to pee really bad. Lethargically, I crawled out of my bed and dragged my lazy carcass to the bathroom. I released my fluids and hopped in the shower to get ready for the day ahead of me. As I was getting ready, I stopped and looked at the clock. It stated 8:15. Great, now I'm late. Half dressed, I ran and started my car and drove like hell to make up for the lost time. Speeding through residential streets, I got on the freeway only to find the worst traffic in the history of traffic. Just my luck. Why does there always have to be traffic when you're pressed for time? All the cars ahead of me were at a standstill. I pulled out my cell phone and dialed 511 for traffic updates. Surprisingly, there were no accidents reported. I thought to myself, that's odd, because most people need to learn how to drive. Something seems strange. I might as well tune into some jams while I sit in this miserable crap. I turn on the radio to only hear the sound of static. What the hell? I slapped the radio a few times, thinking to myself that I really need a new car. Unfortunately, slapping the damn thing didn't help one bit. I looked up out of my windshield and the traffic still hasn't moved an inch. Seriously, what the hell is going on at this time? Frustrated, I got out of my car and tried to investigate what was exactly causing this problem. As I was walking down the freeway, I couldn't help but notice that there weren't any drivers in their vehicles. I wonder where everyone went. There were cars piled up for miles down the freeway that were only leaving the city. It was like a scene out of a movie. This is too damn familiar. I walked back to my car and drove in the opposite direction of the freeway and started to head back to the main city streets. I looked up at the sky. For some reason, the sun wasn't visible. Instead, there was a reflection of light shining down on the whole area. What was odd was that there was not even one cloud visible in the sky. So I kept driving and pushing on. It was like I was driving towards the horizon, like one of those Western cowboy movies. But this city sure isn't Mexico. Continuing down the road for about an hour, I was really curious as to what was going on. Did the whole world leave me, or was I dreaming? Just thinking about what was going on drove me crazy. It seemed like I was on the road to nowhere. I felt alone. All of a sudden, I felt my body thrust forward. My face hit the steering wheel as the sound of crushing metal and glass breaking all happened so fast. The aftermath of the crash and the sight of blood traumatized me. I blacked out. I woke up a complete mess. My car was still wrapped around me and was completely crushed. Damn, I believe I made it. The wonders of a seatbelt. Now, how do I get out of this wreck? I slithered through the back of the car and out of the trunk. I then limped to the front of the car to examine what I hit. My jaw dropped. There was nothing there. I could see into the horizon, but as I walked forward, I bumped into something. I didn't understand. There was something stopping me from going any further. I spread my arms in front of me and realized that there was some type of invisible barrier keeping me from passing through what my vision told me was there. Now, what do I do? I'm limping. There were obviously no people around to help, not to mention I didn't have a vehicle either. I started limping to the middle of nowhere. I was in total pain. This stupid invisible wall had to ruin my day. I walked through the fields and grassy plains. Taking a long walk made me think about my current situation. If there is an invisible wall, what could that possibly mean? Was I completely separated from society? Dealing with all this pain, walking felt like a lifetime. I wish this feeling could just go away. Looking into the distance, I squinted my eyes. There was a figure of a house about a quarter of a mile away. Possible shelter? Slowly, I continued on and got closer to my destination. It was a rundown house. It had missing shingles on the roof and tattered white paint. The smell reminded me of a musty attic. I limped towards the front door and rang the doorbell. I heard a ding dong and waited patiently, as if I was expecting someone there. Of course there wasn't. I walked around the back just to make sure it was safe to break in. It was completely desolate. I took a peek through the screen door windows and grabbed a rock from the backyard. I smashed the screen door and walked right in. I scanned the house and went directly into the kitchen. I was hungry. All of these events had built me an appetite. There was no food. Looks like I was going to have to struggle through this. I looked around the house and sat down on a brown couch that was in the living room. It looked so inviting, and I was tired, so I decided to rest. I attempted to sleep, but there was a sudden annoyance in the other room. Sounded like the scratching of a small rodent. I got up to see what the hell was keeping me awake. In the next room over, there was a small cage. It was gold with elegant designs. I didn't get it. There was a rat inside. How can something so worthless be held in something like this? I took the cage outside and released the rat. It ran off in the darkness. Thinking nothing of it, I went back into the house and tried to attempt to sleep again. I got on the couch, trying to ignore the strong aroma of mold and presence of dust. The couch was uncomfortable, and I was too hungry to think anymore. I cleared my mind. Then my mind went blank. I woke up and saw the alarm clock. It said 6:45. I woke up from a familiar bed. How did I end up back at my house? This made no sense. Was this all a dream? Am I still the last person on Earth? I quickly got out of bed and struggled to put on some clothes. I ran to the door and opened it as fast as I could. My whole neighborhood was frantic. There were parents and children running with their belongings and packing it in their vehicles. There were many vehicles on the road passing my house in a hurry. Everything seemed like a giant scare, but my mind told me something wrong was bound to happen. Quickly, I went back into the house and I turned on the television to find out what the hell was going on. Every channel had the same news broadcast, and it stated, "The end is near," in bold letters. Well, that was very informative. This doesn't help me at all. How am I supposed to figure out what is going on when all I get from the world is useless and an obvious message? This made no sense. Was my dream telling me the future if I never woke up in time? I quickly ran to my car and decided to follow the direction of traffic. It looked like everyone was going the same way. What could be the reason? I drove with a sense of panic, following someone else's direction and not knowing exactly what was going on. For what seemed as helpless, the ride took us to the middle of nowhere. The drive was about 4 hours long, going through various freeways and back roads I've never been before. We stopped at a standstill. What was ahead of me looked like some sort of fortress. Everyone got out of their vehicles and proceeded to move forward towards the area. This was definitely a military base. The outside was surrounded by soldiers carrying assault rifles with tanks and supplies trucks to the side. There was a line of people entering this military base. What for? No one knew. The line was filled with all different types of people. There were children, adults, all different types of races. At this point of time, it obviously didn't matter who or what you were. The line moved way too slow. Each person going into the base was getting examined before moving to each checkpoint. What were they checking for? Everyone seemed fine when it came to their time, all normal. The family ahead of me, they were nervous. About what? Who knew? The soldier scanned me with his radar gun look-alike device. The screen read normal. It was finally my turn. what was in store for me. The soldier laid his hands on my chest, took the device, and scanned my inner ear. This time, it wasn't the alarm to wake me up from a dream. The truth is, I was infected. No one will ever know the truth behind what really happened or how I was the last person trapped in my own state of mind. Truth is, I lived the same day every day. That's what made me so different. I guess I was the odd one out of the bunch. As I was being taken away for quarantine, I saw a mouse on the ground. It felt like a lost friend. I wish I had the same sense of freedom. The soldiers forcefully dragged me into a medical procedure room. I didn't dare try to fight it. A needle was stuck in the back of my neck. I felt a quick jolt of pain, and then my body went completely relaxed. That was it. I went blank. Thank you, Rio, for letting me read your story. And I hope everyone liked it. Rio, I hope you liked how I read it. I hope I didn't do a terrible job. Tune in for next time. I don't know when that will be, but it will be the next time I do it. So yes, I am Devareay Dream Machine. Keep on watching movies, keep on watching anime, keep on listening to my shorts, well, not my short stories, but people's short stories that I read from high school, and keep on doing you. All right, bye-bye.